And just like that, we're back. It's Views from Section 400. Matt and Jack in this one. Brian, away for personal reasons. Jack, where's Brian at? Why don't you let the people know?
Brian had a tough weekend. It was a really bad showing for the Giants. He actually flew up to New York. He's meeting with the Giants front office. They're discussing what they're going to do with Daniel Jones. Brian's officially not bought in on Daniel Jones. He told me himself he would stop giving me the Trevor Lawrence crap. He knows that Trevor Lawrence is better than Daniel Jones. And he's up in New York right now trying to figure out who they can get to be better than Trevor Lawrence.
Which is absolutely wild because I think a week ago he was bought in on Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones had the entire New York Giant fan base bought in to this year and him as quarterback. And I think they've all done a 180 after week one.
He even had Kay Adams bought in. I heard a rumor that they started dating. I can't imagine she's still excited about that after his week one performance.
Yeah, really bad stuff there by the New York Giants. If you watched the live show, if you saw our other show, I was huge on the Giants plus 1.5. It didn't work out, and you won't see a single dollar from me go on that franchise for the rest of the year. I hope they go 0 and 17, I think is the new number. 0 and 17. But nonetheless, it's Views from Section 400. We got a jam-packed show, whether Brian's here, whether he's not here. Matt and Jack will bring you through all the action that is to unfold. College football, obviously, big weekend last week. Another big one coming up this week. We'll dive into what unfolded. I know Brian and Jack are back from Auburn. Jack, tough weekend as the Cal Golden Bears travel to Jordan-Hare and got a win. Did Auburn pay them to come play?
No. Stop that. Oh, man, it was a rough game. Me and Brian already did our due diligence talking about it. I know we'll get into it more when we start recapping college football, but no, it was just an awful, awful game. I mean, we absolutely won the weekend, had a blast at the Airbnb, seeing all the college guys at the tailgate. Tailgate was beautiful. We did it up this year. We finally graduated from bringing our own chairs and bags of Chick-fil-A to having it catered to us, and they had a full bar there, pouring us drinks. It was a wonderful time.
Level up those tailgates, man. Level up those tailgates. The days of natty lights and just putting a couple dollars, couple cents together to get a 12-packer, a 30-racker over. Bring in the high class, the high life, and, have a ball. So that's some great stuff right there. Tailgates for anything are always an electric part, almost better than the actual event itself, some might say.
If your team loses, absolutely.
Right there, brother. But, if you watched the live show, I gave out some juice on the live show. We were red hot on our picks last week, so make sure you tune in. We'll drop a little bit of juice there. But Sunday, right before the 1 o'clock slate, I did it last week, red hot against the board, probably going to be red hot again this week. So make sure you tune in to that coming up this Sunday. But we're going to jump right into winners and losers right after a quick word from our sponsor, SeatGeek.
The best time of the year is here. Football is back. And whether you're going to a game at Jordan-Hare to cheer on Auburn, going to the Link to watch the Birds, or going up to MetLife, not JetLife, Matt, to watch the Giants probably lose, you're going to want to go to SeatGeek, the official sponsor of the Views from Section 400 podcast. New users, $20 off your first purchase by using code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout. Again, new users, $20 off your first purchase to any football game, any postseason baseball game, anything you're doing this late summer or fall. Code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout. Thank you to SeatGeek, the official sponsor of the podcast. And now, winners and losers.
Yeah, winners and losers of the week here. Jack, why don't you kick us off? Give us a winner, give us a loser, and then I'll get it rocking and rolling for us here too.
Sure thing, Matt. I'm going to be very selfish with this winner. It's going to be Brian Thomas Jr., the first round wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He showed out in his rookie debut. The stat line, it didn't explode off the page. 4 receptions on 4 targets, catching 100% of the balls thrown to him. 47 yards and a touchdown. I mean, it doesn't explode off the page, but that's a damn solid stat line for your first game in the NFL. On top of that, he did it with Jalen Ramsey, one of the best corners in the league, certainly one of the highest paid corners in the league, shadowing him for the entire game. So 4 for 47 and a touchdown. rookie game against the top corner in the league. I am so excited for what's to come for Brian Thomas Jr. in this Jacksonville offense.
Some already say wide receiver 1 for the Jags over Christian Kirk.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
He's already there.
I'm there. I mean, especially after what we saw from Kirk in week 1 with the few drops that he had. He dropped he had an awful drop on a third down ball that would have been huge to convert that first down. After seeing Brian Thomas, what he did, I'm already bought into, Matt. It's Brian Thomas Jr. season, and he's going to be the number 1 on this team for a while.
Yeah, dude. And Christian Kirk, I mean, I was surprised about that. I was unfamiliar with Brian Thomas's game, so it looks like he's going to emerge nicely as a nice receiver. Gabe Davis is still just Gabe Davis. I think my prediction on what he's going to be is he's just a guy there. I didn't even recognize him.
That's fair. He looked good in teal. I'll say that. He looked like a big body in that teal. I won't say that he's just a guy. I won't say that he's a star, but I think that he's in the middle of those two. You know, he doesn't have the ceiling that Brian Thomas Jr. has, but he definitely has a higher ceiling than Christian Kirk.
All right, so I think he's just a guy, but for the sake of argument, I think he's closer to being just a guy than closer to being a star.
Okay, I'll give you that.
You can agree with that.
Let us know down below what you guys think. Gabe Davis, is he legit or not?
Yeah, I already know where that one's going, but we'll see. We'll let the people vote. It's a democracy around here, especially with the presidential debate last night. But right on tune with that. But let's keep it going. Or you got a loser for us here, or what do we got?
I got a loser for you, and it's going to be all the offenses who just decide not to play in the preseason and let it show in week 1. I mean, the preseason, I get it. It doesn't count for anything. You have the potential to get hurt. But it's your time to practice and come together. And especially with these passing offenses, it's a time to work on your routes and your timing. It just became so apparent to the teams who didn't go out there. Some of the newer teams, newer offensive ecosystems, they were so bad in week 1. Some players coming off of injuries too. Some notable ones. Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta offense looked awful. Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense looked awful. And I know Jamar Chase was limited. T. Higgins wasn't playing, but they looked awful. Joe Burrow looked awful. Another one, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I'm not going to lie, he looked like he was slinging it, but the timing, maybe it was just the Niners defense being good, but overall, what I'm trying to say is people use the freaking preseason. I mean, you got Joe Burrow playing one singular drive in the preseason. Sure, he scores a touchdown in that one preseason drive, but to just say, yeah, okay, we saw enough, he's fine, and he comes out there in week 1 and looks like that, honestly, it's unacceptable.
You know who didn't play the preseason either? The Eagles offense. And they looked electric on Friday night. Other than those first couple of drives, they stuttered.
I will say this. They don't have a new quarterback coming in or, new pieces like that. Jalen Hurts
coordinator
wasn't coming off an injury. They do have a new coordinator. And so that's one thing that, maybe they should have, used some of that in the preseason to show the coordinator what, to show what Kellen Moore can do. But Joe Burrow coming off the injury, Kirk Cousins coming off the injury, Aaron Rodgers coming off the injury. None of these guys had the timing down with their receivers. Hurts to Devonta Smith, Hurts to A.J. Brown. Yeah, that shit was clean, as it has been for the past 3 years.
Yeah, definitely some chemistry there. And already some nice chemistry with Saquon Barkley. 3 touchdowns and an extremely nice day for him. I'm sure that killed Giant fans all over the place. So love to see that there. But yeah, I think I will debut my first ever double loser of the week here because there were losers across the board this past week. Across the board, dude. And I'm going to kick it off with a team that if they're ever in the loser spotlight, I'm going to jump right on it. And this is San Francisco 49ers. Christian McCaffrey missing Monday night, but looking to be a season-long injury. Might not be out for the whole year, but it's something he's going to have to battle for for the entirety of the year. I know they got this undrafted rookie or undrafted guy. He's been with the team. He had a nice day, but having Christian McCaffrey, who's an injury-prone guy, who's now going to be injured the entire year, facing an injury, I think that will eventually catch up to them. The NFL teams are smart. It's the pro level for a reason. They'll be able to pick up on this new running back. Nobody had film on him. Now you got film on the guy. I think you'll be able to slow him down, stop him, contain him. This McCaffrey injury will catch up to the 49ers, and that's why I have them as my first loser of the week.
I think that's fair. I mean, I was really interested on how you were going to make the Niners a loser after they just blew out the Jets on Monday Night Football. But
I got away always.
McCaffrey's a huge piece of this offense, and you're absolutely right. They are going to need him. This is the type of injury that seems, from what everyone's saying, is supposed to linger for the rest of the year, could, hamper him at any single point, especially, when we get to playoff time when stuff actually matters. That's scary if Christian McCaffrey can't play during that time. If I'm Shanahan, if I'm being smart, I'm resting McCaffrey I'm putting him on the IR for the next 4 weeks saying, dude, you got to get this right. We're going to win enough games to get into the playoffs without you, but we can't get over the hump of winning that Super Bowl without you. I mean, that's why they had to do whatever they had to do to sign Brandon Ayuk. They cannot get over the hump and win the Super Bowl without him. So you're right, Matt. This is a big loss for them, and the fact that this is going to be a lingering injury.
Lingering all year. And look, you can say, yeah, sure, they look great, but I don't care. It's the Jets. They got Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, the defense. Dude, the Jets are the Jets. The Lions will now have a better upper hand against them. The Eagles will have a better upper hand against them. And even when Jordan Love comes back, the Packers will have an edge against them. The Packers just put up a big number, and their defense is solid. I think McCaffrey going down has these teams catching up.
Yeah, well, I think Jordan Love going down for the Packers might hurt just a bit more.
Is he not coming back in like 3 weeks?
Well, sure, he might be coming back in 3 weeks, but you're going through 3 weeks with Malik Willis. I mean, that's three losses right there. The Packers, to me, they're not on the level of the Eagles, the Lions, and the Niners. The Packers are a step below that. In my preseason, power rankings, talking about Jordan Love, I said he had a great year last year. He's going to need to do it again, though. You can't just automatically assume the Green Bay Packers are going to be in there based on.
Dude, I mean, he played great against the Eagles until he got hurt right at the end. I mean, they put up 29 points.
And then he got hurt, Matt. He's going to be out for the next few weeks. We got to see how he is.
He'll be healthy when he comes back, though.
Okay.
Like, I understand that he got hurt, but when 3 weeks when he's healthy, he won't be hurt anymore.
Hopefully it's not something like McCaffrey's injury that's going to linger on, right?
We'll see. It's definitely tough that it's in the knee. But my second loser of the week is going to be – I had a couple here, too, that I could have went through, but I got to rag on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish because their fan base is so annoying. It's always, they have that national brand. So people from California all the way to New Jersey, up to New York, up to the state of Washington, there's always some Notre Dame fan you can find. So they have the national brand. They talk all this smack, all this arrogant crap that they're the best and this and that in their top 5 country. Northern Illinois gets paid $1.5 million to come in and get smacked by them. And oh no, they brought their full team. They're loaded with seniors on that team. They came in and they didn't come to lose. They didn't just take the paycheck and go home with an ass kicking. No, they did the ass kicking. They brought it to Notre Dame. And they got a big ass check from it and went home with a W. Nationally ranked now at number 25, by the way. The Northern Illinois Huskies, I think it was. Jimmy Garoppolo might have went there. Yeah. L for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I never want to hear them again about winning a national title, especially with this current team.
Pick a conference.
That's all you really need to do there. But, yeah, that's the winners and losers. In my case, the double losers of the week. We'll jump right now into some college football recap. I know we already jumped into it a little bit, but Texas jumps up to number 2 in the AP poll. Georgia stays at number 1. Georgia and Texas, I think, are my 2 favorites to get to that national title game. Alabama a close third. I'm not sold on Ohio State yet, but Ohio State is 3. Alabama's 4. I know Alabama sputtered a little bit there in that game against South Florida, but South Florida's a pretty good team, man. They got some dogs over there, and they brought it to Alabama. I think there's a game circled in a couple weeks when Miami, the U, who I think is now top 10 in the country, has to travel to South Florida. Have that as an interesting game. I think that'll be a very interesting game. Look out for that one when it comes up. But Ole Miss in the top 5, rounding out the top 5. That's kind of interesting because we haven't seen them up there that recently. I mean, I know they've sputtered around the top 10, but they're already up to the top 5. An explosive offense they have as well.
Yeah. Lane Kiffin offense, and my favorite, well, I should say my second favorite quarterback in college football, Jackson Dart. Just an insane name. I've loved him since he came into college football simply because of his name. And then you go out there and watch him, and he throws darts and he runs hard too. So I'm a fan of Jackson Dart and the Ole Miss Rebels, but I'm with you there, dude. Georgia and Texas are clearing away the 2 best teams right now. Georgia put an absolute smacking on Clemson in week 1, which fans are going to remember for a while. And then Texas taking it to Michigan. Oh my gosh, the defending champs in their own house. Quinn Ewers, he looks like my Heisman frontrunner, no doubt.
Yeah, and Texas is good, but I think Michigan has taken a monster step back. New head coach, lost a lot of players. Them being at number 10 was just some fluff. They dropped all the way down to 17. Massive step back from winning it all a year ago.
I mean, you said it. They lost all their key pieces: the quarterback, the running back, the receiver. Some stars on the defense. The head coach. I mean, come on, Harbaugh was the wheel that made this thing turn. So with him out of the room now, you're going to do less in the recruiting, less in the transfer portal. I mean, it's just tough. Michigan, I hope you enjoyed that championship run because it's the last one you're going to have for a little bit.
Yeah, I think so too. But another interesting one. I'm surprised, even though they won the game and they're 2-0, Penn State not maybe dropping to 9-10. They stay at number 8, and Bowling Green came in and they gave them a fight for all 4 quarters. I even started to believe that Bowling Green might have been able to pull off the upset. But again, Penn State just bailed out right at the end. Going to be a long season for them. They might be 2-0, but I see them having some losses and definitely not winning the national title.
Yeah, they're always a super talented team that flounders out year in and year out. It seems like that's sort of just their recipe. And this seemed like one of those games that, regardless of the fact that they have a clear talent advantage, they might let this one slip away. But I mean, that's the name of the game, right? Win and survive, win in advance. So it wasn't pretty, but I still have some faith in this Penn State team. And, I know you don't. I know you fucking hate them, so I don't really need to explain myself.
Regardless of hating them, I'll still give them respect to if I thought they could win. They have no shot. They have no shot. I'll go as far. I know I usually do for the NFL. They have a 0% chance to win the national title this year.
At winning a natty over a team like Georgia, Texas, even Ole Miss, Alabama. No, I'm with you. I don't think they have a real legitimate shot either.
And it is what it is. But any other surprises? I know Miami jumped. What did they start the year? 23. They jumped all the way up to 10.
Yeah, Miami's the clear and away favorite to win the ACC at this point.
Has to be. I mean, Florida State is Florida State at this point. I mean, you talk about a team that takes a step back. What are they playing water guns at practice now? Or what did we see that clip earlier? They're shooting water guns at each other.
Oh, come on, man. They're just preparing for the rain game. It gets rainy in Florida. They got to prepare for wet balls and paws and they can't be fumbling. They can't be fumbling out there.
Last thing, Missouri, 6th in the country. Nobody really talks about them, but again, lights out defense. Yeah. And can sling the rock all over the field and power offense.
Yeah, you might have to fact check me real quick, but I'm pretty sure they're the only team in the FBS that has produced a shutout in both their games the first two
They haven't
weeks.
let up a point. Haven't
Yeah,
let up a point.
insane run by their defense to start the season. Definitely going to be interested to see if they can keep that up, especially in this league. But uh, you got to give them a shout out. Got to give them a shout out.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to see. Usually, Ole Miss number 5, Missouri number 6. You don't see that very often.
No,
But
but you got to give them credit. They're good programs, or not necessarily good programs historically, but right now, they have the right pieces in place, and I think that both of them are very legitimate teams in their own ways. But I got to give one last shout out to Nebraska, beating Colorado, Dion and Shadur Sanders. Dylan Raiola is my favorite quarterback in college football right now. I think he's the best quarterback in college football. I'll go out there and say that as a freshman, I think he's the best college quarterback right now.
he's fun to watch. It's definitely fun to watch, but he's got to relax with the trying to be Patrick Mahomes stunt. I mean, he's got to cool it a little bit, dude. Like the haircut, the fucking pit vipers, the doing the warm up where he jumps to his fucking knees to his shoulders and does the same exact thing that Mahomes does. The awkward Mahomes walk, flinging the ball side. I mean, like, dude, give it a ray. You're not even trying to hide it.
No, he's
Like,
really
let
not trying to
Mahomes
hide
be his
it.
guy. Like, you don't need to be just chill out, bro.
That's the funniest thing too, because like you see him like get interviewed and like ask that question, like, are you like, do you know that you do these things like Patrick Mahomes? He's like, oh, like we're both football players, we do things, if they're similar, like, it's cool, it just means I'm if he's doing it and I'm doing it, it probably just means I'm doing the right thing, and it's like, bro, we know you're just trying to literally be this man. Like, what are you gonna do next?
Yeah, dude. Like, you
How you say
can't.
something?
I didn't even know that he was denying it, dude. You can't deny that.
You
He's
can't.
like, it's like fucking. He's a total copycat, and I'm like, whatever. I like cool, but like, be your own guy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he is literally trying to be Patrick Mahomes. I can't recall the last time we've seen something like this.
I mean, this one for one, yeah,
I mean,
I
dude,
get
it's
it.
1 for 1, like everything on and off the field.
Yeah, yep.
It's unbelievable. But yeah, other than that, I mean, anything. I know you and Brian really honed in on Auburn football, but anything else you have there that really stuck out to you?
Nope, don't want to talk about it.
Like Hurt said in his post game press conference last year, when you take a shit, you don't sit there and look at it. You flush it down the toilet.
Flush it down the toilet, move on to next week.
Damn right.
Maybe
Well, that's
move
a good.
maybe move on to next year at this point. But
Yeah. Well, that's what I said in the live show. I did cut in a little Auburn snippet because I said, we've been hearing for the last 4 years that next year Auburn will be good. And I think we're now at a point where it's, hey, next year we can look at it and maybe we'll be good. But Peyton Thorne, 4-year starter, and that's still what he is not only a joke, but an embarrassment.
yeah, it's comparable to Florida State's DJ Ukulele.
Yeah. I mean, dude, like at some point, figure it out.
Really? No, seriously. I mean, it can't just be the system or the coach or the play calling or the O line, as Shador Sanders would like to rag on. At a certain point you have to step up. If your O line isn't playing great, if your coach is you know if your coach is calling plays you don't like, that's something that you need to figure out way before game time. It's ridiculous. You cannot be this bad as a 4-year quarterback.
Yeah, it's just funny. Brian told me that Auburn will at some point get ranked this year. I wonder if he's now singing a different tune.
I mean, after that loss, yeah, yeah, he damn well should be. I
But
mean,
that's a little
we have good pieces on our team, but like,
dude.
not
Some of those wideouts are sick. That's
yeah.
why I'm like, it's completely on Peyton Thorne. Like that's the only blame.
Like there was one play in the Auburn game. I'll just use this as my last piece on how bad Peyton Thorne is. There's one play in the Auburn game where he throws it to one of our receivers, and I'm just blanking on names. These guys all have crazy names, but he throws it to one of our receivers. A receiver is literally holding his shoulder like he can't fucking like move it. And I don't know why he doesn't get off the field, but he doesn't. Maybe we're in a hurry up offense. Hurry up offense. Peyton Thorne throws it back up to the same receiver after the receiver's like literally going like this on the line. And he doesn't go to another receiver who's actually open. It's just like, and what does he do? He throws it up, and the DB is just
He's a
standing
bad quarterback.
and out jumps our wide receiver because our wide receiver can't even fucking lift his arms over his head. It's like, Peyton Thorne, what are you doing?
He is the Daniel Jones of college football.
Yeah. Well said, Matt. Well said.
Yeah, but speaking of Daniel Jones, who's in the NFL, let's jump into an NFL preview here. I know we have, look, the NFL live shows that we do on Sundays, that's where we cover the whole slate. If you didn't check mine out, I thought I did a pretty damn good job of nailing the board. Jack jumped in at the end, gave us a couple picks as well. We were red hot. Red hot. I told you before the week we are going to be red hot. What happened? We were red hot. We're looking to go red hot again this week. Red hot every single week. But we're doing just a couple games here. 5 games we'll go over our teams. Brian's not here, so no need to talk about the Giants now. Love that. And what's that?
I was just saying, thank God.
Yeah, thank the Lord.
I don't want to talk about the Giants.
But yeah, we'll jump in at 5 games here or so, talk a little bit about the slate. I think we got some questions on here. Will be, our favorite, which is our favorite minus spread, our favorite underdog, which would be, plus points, and then our favorite over, favorite under, and then a nice little prop of the week. I think I had Cooper Kupp last week, soared over the 66.5. I think he had 100+ yards. Jack had over Najee Harris rushing yards. Soared over, I think it was like 53.5. So red hot on the props. All the boys went, I think, 3-0 on the props. So that's some good stuff there. But as always, it's NFL week 2, and we'll jump right into the first game we have on the slate here, and that's going to be Thursday night. Tonight, Bills traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Jack, you mentioned that Miami is Buffalo South.
It is, yeah. Bills fans travel well when it comes to South Beach and it's really Fort Lauderdale is where the Dolphins play, but Hollywood, that kind of area. But anyway, the Buffalo Bills, they travel well down there. I mean, who wouldn't want to get out of Buffalo and take a trip down to Florida? I mean, it's as simple as that. And Bills fans go hard, but look, man, this is one of the toughest games for me to call of the entire week, and it's because it's a divisional game. History tells you that Josh Allen and the Bills dominate this matchup, but I don't know. The Bills looked a little shaky in that win against the Cardinals. Not to say Miami looked super impressive against the Jags in their win, but man, it's just a really tough game for me to call.
I just love the whole Buffalo South thing. The Buffalo South is really resident. I just think it can mean a lot for this team, and that's why I have no issue. Again, we're not giving out too much juice, but I really like the Bills in this one to get the job done. Both teams want to know. I think the Bills at the end of the day, Josh Allen at the end of the day, the better quarterback in this game. I think they'll be able to get it done regardless. And dude, when he starts losing, you saw it in the Cardinals game. He gets pissed off and he takes over. And I think we'll maybe see that again here, but yeah, I like the Bills a lot in this one.
Man, I don't know. I'm gonna tell you Miami just to be different, but I'm gonna tell you why as well. Their defense did look very impressive in week 1 against my Jags. Definitely a lot better than I gave them credit for coming into the season. They looked healthy, they looked fast, and they looked good. So I really like Miami's defense. And on top of that, Tyreek Hill is simply unstoppable. And I know there's some injuries to the running back room for Miami, and even Waddle got banged up a little bit in the game. But if Tyreek Hill is healthy, he's going to go for 150 yards. And I think Miami can win this game at home. I mean, they always have a lot of early season success. I'm going to go with them against the Bills at home.
Yeah, we'll see if the Bills Mafia can take over that stadium there in Miami. But coming into 2 franchises that were the face of embarrassment this past week, the Cleveland Browns traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Both teams losing in embarrassing fashion. Browns blown out at home. Jaguars blowing leads. Jack, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think we really needed that whole intro, Matt, but thanks. The Jags did blow a lead last week. If Travis Etienne doesn't fumble that football, we're up 2 touchdowns and we're sitting so pretty. But he did. We dropped. I believe it was a 98.2% chance to win the game before he fumbled that football. And then we ended up losing it. So yeah, we did blow it. The Browns didn't look competitive from the start. Deshaun Watson doesn't look good at he doesn't even look comparable. He's not an NFL quarterback right now. And we're talking about a guy who was MVP caliber a couple years ago, but since then he's had a hell of a career with a whole bunch of offseason stuff. And as we know, offenses run through quarterbacks. With Deshaun Watson this bad, this Browns offense is going to be that bad. And it doesn't matter how good the Browns defense is. If their offense is that bad, I don't think they're running a whole lot of games this year. They might need to figure out a way to get out of this Watson contract and just implode it. Bring Joe Flacco back.
Bring Joe Flacco back. I could have said it better myself. Deshaun Watson is not a starting quarterback anymore. I'm not impressed with his ability to run an offense, to go out there and get the job done. Look, I hate to give the Cowboys praise, but they shut them down from all angles. That offense can never get going. Amari Cooper was completely silenced in that match. I mean, he's a guy who you'd expect to have at least 6, 7 catches for 50 plus yards and maybe even a touchdown in there. I mean, he was an absolute ghost in that matchup.
Especially in a quote unquote revenge game. I know he's played the Cowboys since, but it's still a revenge game, going against your former team. And, they decide to keep CD and pay his ass and said, Amari, you can leave. So use a little bit of juice there for him. And you're right, though. Deshaun Watson couldn't get anything going to him. Got to give the Cowboys defense some credit. I believe they had 6 sacks in this one.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson definitely hurt, banged up Monday morning. And I don't know if anybody saw, but the Cleveland fan who called in and was comparing Baker Mayfield's QBR to Deshaun Watson's QBR. In what world 2 years ago, 3 years ago, would you have thought that Cleveland fans would be calling into the local radio station saying, we want Baker Mayfield back? Unbelievable how times change things. Because Baker Mayfield, oh, by the way, I don't think we'll really dive into it, but, looked unbelievable. He's the QB1 in fantasy right now.
Yeah, I mean, he looked incredible. He did play the Commanders, so with their awful defense. So let's
Take
pump
that
the
for
brakes
what it's worth.
just a little bit, but he did look amazing. I got to give him credit.
Yeah, it was really good, and the Browns offense really bad. But
Yeah, it's the Jags. The Jags are winning this game. I think it's gonna be a very close game. I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to bet Browns plus 3.5, but don't bet their money line.
yeah, this is, I think, a stay away from game. I know I do the stay away, and then come Sunday, some kind of juice gets thrown out there. It happened for a couple games last week, but sitting here on a Wednesday night for a show to get released Thursday morning, and this is a 1 p.m. kickoff down in Duval. I'm not going to be throwing anything out for this one. I really don't know, because as much as I want to take the Jags, they were exposed last week and vulnerable to a comeback that thought was impossible.
Fucking play
And
call.
they just kept shooting themselves in the foot. So if you can't get out of your own way, anybody can beat you.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You don't fumble that football. You don't decide to only throw the ball 21 times in a game when your quarterback is Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, you can probably put up more than 17 points.
Some trouble in paradise there for the Jags and Dougie P.
Yeah, I'm not really all too happy with Dougie after that week 1 performance.
Sounds like a little trouble in paradise there for Jackie boy. Not too thrilled.
I might need to head down to Duval and speak to Doug myself.
Everybody's taking trips to visit the GMs, but me, because the Eagles absolutely defense, a little questionable. We'll get into them in a minute.
Your
Colts.
GM is like fucking halfway to Jesus Christ himself, dude. Like he's been insane.
He's been God tier for sure. Colts taking on the Packers, though. I've seen in the notes Jordan Love status somehow up in the air. Do we have mixed reports that he's somehow possibly playing? Is that a smoke screen for opposing team that or for the Colts who have to come and play him? Like, there's just no way Jordan Love's playing, right?
No, I'm fairly positive that Matt LaFleur already named Malik Willis a starter.
Yeah, that's got to be some kind of smoke screen or the notes are wrong or something. But Colts minus 3.5 in Lambeau. Both teams 0-1. You think the Colts should probably cover that, right?
I would think so. Against Malik Willis, yes. But Malik Willis has some things going for him. The Colts defense. I mean, look, I think if Matt LaFleur is smart and he watches the tape from last week, you see Joe Mixon and the Texans run the ball 30 times through the mouth of the Colts defense, and you say, "Shit, why don't we do that with Josh Jacobs?" And I think this could be a win for the Green Bay, but I'm not betting on Malik Willis. I'm going with Anthony Richardson. I think the Colts cover this one pretty easily.
Yeah, this might be a fun prop game because, I don't know what's going to happen, but the Colts are fun to take props on.
Yeah, maybe some long touchdown props. I mean, you saw the Eagles doing it to the Packers defense last week, and the Colts like to do that in general with Richardson's arm. So yeah, I like some overs on some lesser known receivers that catch a deep ball. Another Alec Pierce, an Adonai Mitchell, maybe he connects this week. I think Josh
Dude,
Allen might be back this week too, so we'll see about him.
Adonai Mitchell, I mean, honestly, that was on Richardson. There were a couple throws there where, like, dude, he was wide open and just, missed them.
Happens. I mean, look,
Giant,
rookie wide receiver and a quarterback who's only played a few games in the NFL, first game together for them. So, the chemistry will come.
real quick, don't need to spend too much time. Giants Commanders. Giants starting out 0-2.
Yeah, I'm taking the Commanders.
I agree. I agree there. I actually love the Commanders in that game. Rams Cardinals. Rams a underdog in this one. I like it. I like the Cardinals this year. They showed a huge fight week one, and both teams 0-1 though. It's totally a toss up as a divisional matchup.
Yeah, both of these teams, despite losing week one, showed me something that says they're going to be pretty good teams and tough to put away. I'm going with the Rams in this one, and it's because of Sean McVay. I give the Rams way too much credit because of Sean McVay, week in and week out, season in and season out. But I just think that that's the right call here. Even though Puka Nacua is going on IR, I think that that close overtime loss that they had to the Lions is, the Lions are a really good team. And not to say, the Cardinals losing to the Bills aren't a good team, but I'm going with the Rams. I think the Rams are the better team. They showed me more in week one. I know they're going on the road, but this is a divisional game and a game that Sean McVay tends to win.
I mean, after week one, the NFC West has to be one of the best divisions in football, no?
Definitely. I said it was going to be going into the year and just proved me right through 1 week.
Yeah, I Cardinals have proved me right too. I mean, they've been they lost, but upset. Talk about blowing a lead. They had every right to win their game.
Yeah, they had every chance to win that game too.
Couldn't get it done. But moving on to your Bengals, who probably joke of the week, taking on the reigning champs, Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Chiefs win this game, get to 2-0. Big spread, 6.5. Definitely staying away from that, but the Chiefs should come out victorious.
Fucking give me that 6.5 all day, dude. They're gonna work these Bengals.
Really, you think it's
Bengals defense is so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad, and that was against the Patriots.
It's so bad. And on top of that, Joe Burrow is not healthy. I know we were like all talking, Brian's typing him up, coming in
50 touchdowns, Brian has.
MVP candidate, like MVP season, Super Bowl season, 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. None of that's happening. Not a single one of those is happening. Joe Burrow is not healthy. That wrist is a problem. And I'm not talking about that stupid water bottle video I'm talking about the fact that this man, by the end of the game, looks like every time he throws the ball, he's like, ugh, like his hand is gonna explode or something like that. I,
And again, I
I'm,
got to
I'm,
pull up.
I'm genuinely scared for Joe Burrow, not only for like the immediate future, but for honestly like this whole season and potentially his career.
I know it's still early, but just a couple weeks ago, I think when we did their preview, Brian set a line over under, what was it, 34 and a half, 35 and a half passing touchdowns for Joe Burrow this year. I took the under and got borderline laughed over off the show by you and Brian. But this under is looking damn good.
Oh yeah, yeah, it is. Well, again, going back right back to
I
it,
got laughed off the show.
fully expected him after, taking the entire postseason to himself, to come back healthy in this one. Just not the case. Not the case. That wrist is messed up. And it's the throwing wrist, dude. It's a big deal.
Did he throw a touchdown this past week? Or was it a rushing? I
Uh,
don't know. I didn't watch the
Zach,
game. It was a
Zach
horrible game.
Zach Moss had the touchdown. I can't remember if it was receiving or not. Hold on.
Doesn't matter. All I know is that over under, the under's looking a lot better than the over right now. Still early, but looking good.
Oh, on his 35 passing touchdowns? Yeah, the under is definitely looking good for you, Matty.
But we'll jump right in to the Bears taking on the Texans. Caleb Williams and the Painted Nails get the job done despite throwing, what was it, less than 100 passing yards in week one. Another Titans up 17-0 or 17-3, not able to get the job done. We were super high. We were chanting Titan up, plus 4.5 for the Titans. Should have hit.
Should have
Should
hit.
have hit. I mean, up 17-0 to blow that game. It's an embarrassment and a joke.
Yeah, I mean it took it took everything out of Chicago's defense and special teams to win this game. And you're right, Caleb Williams does not deserve to be 1-0 as an NFL quarterback right now. It was a blocked punt by the defense, by the special teams. It was a pick six by the defense. I mean, that's how they scored their points, the Bears. I mean, it was all the defense. Caleb Williams is gonna have to figure it out, but dude, that was a tough beat for the Titans. I know. I wanted them to. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't want them to win that game, but I wanted them to cover the 4.5.
It looks like they should have, but yeah, like you said, Caleb Williams did not deserve to be the guy to break the streak of first rookie quarterback since 2002 to win week one. I mean, dude, that stat line was horrible. It's a joke. I get it. Sure, he was technically the starting quarterback, so he was the winning quarterback, but he looked horrible. And he paints his nails. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Texans in this one. 6.5 might be a little juicy for me.
Big number.
Honestly, if you're gonna make me bet the spread on this game, I am gonna take the Bears plus 6.5. But Texans at home should win this game.
Yeah, 100% agree. They're definitely going to win the game. It's are they going to cover, and that we don't know because the Bears' defense is pretty solid, but like based on what we saw, the Bears' offense wasn't anything special. I know we
No.
were high on the Titans' defense, but I am, if anything, there's got to be a new Rookie of the Year candidate.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
That's
the whole Jaden Daniels thing from Brian is starting to trend in the right direction for him.
dude, this fucking these garbage time stats might get him there. And if it does, just like how we were wrong about the Heisman and LSU last year, if he takes the same route to get there, me and you just gotta look so stupid. We gotta paint our face like clowns, being like, bro, we just saw
Yeah.
it. You didn't think it was gonna happen again.
Yeah, it is a joke and it's stupid, but
I hate that I hate that like if its season ended today, like would we give it to Jaden Daniels?
after week one, I
I
mean, look, Harrison shit the bed.
If you want
Caleb
to look,
Williams,
if you want to
not a
look at
good.
receivers, it was either Brian Thomas Jr. or Lad McConkey.
Yeah, I mean, excuse me, it'd probably be Jaden Daniels.
I hate that.
As tough of a pill that is to swallow.
Give
It'd
me
probably be him. It'd probably be him, but let's jump into America's game of the week here. Monday Night Football. Falcons traveling to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Link's going to be rocking. Everybody from Philly's going to be there. Everybody from the fucking Philadelphia suburbs is going to be there. It's going to be a party, and I can't wait. The 0-1 Falcons plus 6.5 underdogs travel to the Link to take on the Philadelphia Eagles in a Monday night battle where the Eagles usually play pretty well, especially at home. I'm looking for them to go out and get the job done, but going to be leaning towards player props in this one because I am not confident in them covering 6.5. I'm not going to take them to win by a touchdown, although the Falcons looked horrible against the Steelers, who, oh, by the way, we gave out, or at least I gave out, Steelers plus 4.5 on the live show, so make sure you tune in this Sunday for some more red hot picks.
Yeah, I was thoroughly unimpressed by the Falcons. I kind of thought I would be going into week one, a whole lot of new pieces. I kind of expected them to not look polished, but they looked pretty bad, honestly. Kirk Cousins, another guy that does not look healthy. A lot of people are talking about how every time he threw the ball, it was out of the shotgun. He wasn't really moving his feet at all. It's true. I mean, I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Falcons. So, Matt, come on. I'm on the minus 6.5 for the Eagles right here, dude. You're not?
Dude, I can't get behind it. But I love, like, A.J. Brown will have a big day. Saquon will definitely have another big day. Like, Saquon for 2 touchdowns, like, I know we're about to get into our favorite props of the week. That might be on it because Saquon so easily could have 2 touchdowns this week, as well as because, look, if you look last week, the tush push did not look that good. Everybody wanted to ban that play. And it really shows how much Jason Kelce meant to the offensive line, kind of spearheading that play. The Eagles were dominant in running that play. You couldn't stop it. They tried to run it a few times on Friday with the new center Cam Jurgens, and it shows. I mean, dude, other teams couldn't run it, and the Eagles struggled to run it as the departure of Jason Kelce is clearly hindering that play. So props to the NFL for not banning a play because other teams didn't know how to stop it and didn't know how to run it. Eagles just executed it well, and, I wonder if that's the last time we'll see that play be effective.
It's a great question, Matt. I would have to think that coaches, they just get better, and somebody's going to figure out a way to incorporate that into the game. But that is a big takeaway that I saw, for the Eagles. It helped Jalen Hurts secure 38 rushing touchdowns over the past 3 years. He had like 13, 15, and 15. I mean, a lot of that was the tush push, not all of it. He's an athletic dude, but that's a pretty big deal for them. And you're right. If they're not going to be able to execute that properly, it opens the door for Saquon Barkley to absolutely tear up touchdowns in the red zone.
2 touchdowns for Saquon this week might be a lock. But, yeah, that's kind of all we have for the slate right there. Jack, why don't we jump in to our 5 quick bets that we have around the horn. Favorite of the week, got to be minus money. Who do you like? That being said, Jack, why don't you start us off here with your favorite of the week? Favorite. That's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, it does. My favorite this week, man, it's gotta be honestly the Ravens. And I know they have a huge spread going against the Raiders, but coming off of a week 1 loss, this is an offense and defense that showed me a lot against the reigning champs, and I think that they're going to want to come out here and cover in a big fashion.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I think that's a big game to jump on. Yeah, I think I'm going to. There's a couple games I want to take here. One of them being I want to double down on the Tennessee Titans. Oh wait, no, we need to do favorite. Favorite. I hate taking this one, but the Commanders minus 1.5. I don't see the Giants scoring. Regardless, I mean, dude, the Bucks just put up a shit ton of points. I get that. But the Giants don't have that caliber of offense. And I think maybe I don't love that one as much. Dude, I don't know. I really don't love any of these. But if I'm going to take one, I'm going to take the Commanders -1.5 at home. I think they get it done. I think Jaden Daniels is probably going to ball out.
Another one I really like is the 49ers going on the road to Minnesota -6. I think that's a lock.
Dude, there's some weird lines out there. Some really weird lines this week.
Mm-hmm.
I know I said it was ready, but the favorite's hard, dude. The spreads this week are fucking tough.
They are. They're a little bit weird. I like the Niners and I like I'm gonna have to go with the Niners just because it's gonna be it's a smaller spread than the Ravens, so I'm gonna switch it up
Nah,
but
I'm switching mine up. Don't overthink it. I know it's only -102. Texans -6.5. They're blowing the Bears out. They're winning by 2 scores. I'm not over. It's Sunday Night Football in Houston. The Bears are going to be scared. Caleb Williams is going to struggle against that defense. I got it. Anthony Richardson just had a nice day. I like the Texans -6.5, win by a touchdown. I think they win by 2. Favorite underdog of the week. Here's where we can have some fun.
yeah, I do think the underdogs are more fun, even though I do believe we actually went 0 for 3 on the underdogs last week. That was because that's because we were predicting money lines instead of the spread. This week we're coming at you guys with the spreads for the underdogs.
Favorite underdog of the week. I mean, I'll kick it off. I kind of teased it in the beginning. I'm taking the Titans +3.5. The Jets didn't show me anything. I don't care what they have, dude. The Titans, they just shut down Keenan Allen. They shut down DJ Moore. They shut down Rome Odunze. Cole Kmet didn't do anything, and DeAndre Swift didn't do anything. So you're bringing in now Breece Hall, Alan Lazard, and Garrett Wilson. Look, L'Jarius Sneed, Roger McCreary are going to shut down this Jet offense as well as the loaded D-backs. And oh, by the way, the D-line is pretty damn good. So give me the Titans at home to cover 3.5 points.
Don't hate the pick. You're very clearly high on the Titans. I like their defense. I
love their defense, and I'm not sold on the Jets, dude. Aaron Rodgers can't move.
He can't move, but he can sling it. He can absolutely sling it. I saw that on Monday night. I just have a feeling that it was going to be a rough first game against San Francisco. I think they might have a little bit more success against Tennessee.
Robert Saleh is not a good head coach, and oh, by the way, their offensive coordinator is Nathaniel Hackett. Do you remember how bad that guy looked in Denver?
Yes.
Like, dude, there is like, okay, you see the Jets and Breece Hall and Aaron Rodgers. Like, take the icing off the cake. Actually open the book. Don't look at the cover. There is root core issues with that franchise and within the organization that is just going to hinder them, not only in week 1, like we saw, in week 2 and beyond.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need to be more creative with the play calling. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett's a fucking bozo.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
So why don't you give us your favorite underdog of the week here?
My favorite underdog of the week, Matt, this is going to sound bad, but it's going to be the Bears. I know you just said how much you like the Texans to blow out the Bears, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think for the Texans to only win that game against the Colts by a few points, Colts defense.
The Colts are way better than the Bears.
Offensively, sure. Defensively, not even freaking close. Bears defense is exponentially better than the Colts. I thought coming into the year that the Colts would be like a middle of the pack defense. They were bad, really bad against the Texans. So
you got the Bears covering 6.5 points.
I do.
How can you cover 6.5 when you don't score?
I think they're going to have a little bit more success. We're just touting the Tennessee defense, and I don't think that
Texans defense isn't horrible. I really don't have them as horrible.
No, I don't think that they're horrible either. But their passing defense, I think, is definitely more exploitable for Caleb compared to Tennessee and the quarterbacks that we're touting up, cornerbacks that we're touting up over there.
Maybe.
That'll be a good one. I'm excited for that one. We're on different sides of the coin for that one. I also just want to see the Texans lose. So how about that?
There you go. See, so maybe some bias there. Take that into mind when you're taking Jack's opinion there, everybody watching. Favorite over the week, dude. What do you got?
Favorite over the week. I'm going with the Colts and the Packers. Colts, Packers. If I'm reading this right, the line is set at 40.5. There's going to be 40 points in this football game. There's no doubt about it. I understand that there's concern because Malik Willis is starting for Green Bay, but there's going to be 40 points in this game. I can guarantee you the Colts are going to score 28 points, 4 touchdowns themselves. And we'll see what Green Bay can do. And, if there's some ancillary defensive touchdowns or, field goals by Indianapolis, but their offense is scoring 4 touchdowns easy. And that's 75% of the points right there.
Yeah, I love this over right here, and it's going to be over 47.5 in the Cincinnati, Kansas City game. I think we see 50 total points scored in this one, and Kansas City might put up 35 by themselves, and all you need is 20 out of the Bengals. I think the Bengals look a little better here in week 2. They got reamed out all week. I think they're going to look a little better. 47.5, it's a big number for a reason because it's going over. Give me the over in the Cincinnati Kansas City game. 2 high-powered quarterbacks who look to get it right. I guess the Chiefs kind of already got it right in week 1, but the Bengals need a bounce back. And if the Bengals have a bounce back, the Chiefs will be able to keep up. That's why I think this game's going over. But favorite under the week, Jack, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so there's 2 unders that I've been staring at, and they're on opposite sides of the spectrum. One of them is the Chargers-Panthers. The line is 39.5. I mean, one of the lowest lines that we're going to see out there. I mean, these are 2 offenses that do not have their shit together. And on top of that, Chargers defense is actually somewhat of a legitimate unit in my eyes after week 1. So I just think this is going to be a very low scoring game. And the only way that this over hits is if the Chargers, really do some damage on offense, which I hope doesn't happen because I'm going to take the under. And the other under I'm looking at is on the other side of the spectrum, a huge over under. Where is it?
Was what that the Lions game?
Yeah, the Bucks and the Lions. That line is set at 51, which is an enormous line for 2 defensively minded teams. The Lions offense, I'm not going to say it necessarily struggled in week 1, but it didn't look as clean as it could be. And then the Bucks, their offense churned, but it was against the Commanders. And I think that there's cause for some regression here. I just think 51 is a fat number, and I wonder if it's just inflated because of how dominant the Bucks looked last week.
I think it is a little bit. It definitely is a little bit, but yeah, my favorite under here is going to be a team that won by scoring 18 points last week. The Steelers and the Broncos under 36.5. I know it's a very low number. This is a game the Steelers could win, 17-13 or 14-10. I mean, this is what this game is going to be. I know 36.5 is a very low number, but it's low for a reason. I think the winner of this game doesn't score 20 points, and that's why I'm taking under 36.5.
Yeah. I would be pissed if this finishes 20-17, but no, I'm with you. I think that there's exactly what we saw out of Pittsburgh last week against the Falcons, where they just won the game off of kicking field goals. There's a very good potential that happens yet again this week.
Totally, dude. The Steelers kick 5 field goals and win the game.
I'm gonna call it right now. I'm probably gonna sprinkle on an anytime touchdown in this game for the Steelers defense. I think somehow, some way, they turn over Bo Nix and take it to the house.
I love that bet right there. I might be right there with you at the cash counter betting that up. But yeah, let's run into the final question here, the most fun one. Jack, I hope you got one lined up for us, but favorite prop of the weekend?
I was taking a look at this the Bills and Dolphins game. This won't be my official prop of the week, but I was taking a look at the Bills Dolphins game. Some of those lines. A Tyreek Hill anytime touchdown is only -130. I think that that's actually like really good value. I think it should be much closer to like -170, 180, considering the fact that Mostert is out, Devon Chan is banged up, Jalen Waddle is banged up. Both of them are expected to play, but if they're going to be limited in any capacity, Mostert's out. The only legitimate weapon the Dolphins have left is Tyreek Hill, and we all know how freaking good he is. He just needs the ball in his hands to take it to the house. -130 for an anytime touchdown for him. I think that's good value. I'll take that.
Hey, it's great value right there. But I'm looking, I can't seem to find what the actual line is. But I'm going to head over to Arizona and take my guy, Kyler Murray, to go over his rushing yards. I think they scramble again. He scrambles around, flies around. I honestly would feel I like his over passing yards and his over rushing yards. I think he has a big day in Arizona as the Rams come to visit.
I like it.
Maybe Marvin Harrison even gets it going, and you can take his over receiving yards. I think a big day for the Cardinals offense is in store.
I like it. I like it a lot.
But I know we said what we have. That's the NFL. What we have for you right there in our content. Check out the live show on Sunday morning where we go through the entirety of the board, in-depth analysis, actual hardcore picks where we're really getting into it, really going through it, and really giving you what we got. I still love some of the juice we gave out right there, but tune in Sunday morning and you'll get the full slate unfolded and revealed just in time for kickoff. So you won't miss anything there. But I don't know. We don't have Brian today. Do we skip out on the news segment and wait until next time to get Brian in on the non-football nugget of the week?
Yeah, we do. And instead of getting in on the nugget, I'm going to give you two more player props to look at. And these are game script oriented, and I don't expect them to be any different. Give me the over on whatever J.K. Dobbins rushing yards is. He had a stellar week 1. He's playing the Panthers this week. I would have to think that they just run the ball all game, and let him churn out yards. So unless that number is anything over 70 yards, yeah, I'm taking J.K. Dobbins over 70. And then the other one, same logic, Derrick Henry. And you guys know me. I have some faith in the Raiders and their defense, but I just think that without Derrick Henry, with Derrick Henry not getting a whole lot of work last week, not that they want to be using him a whole lot. I mean, he's 30 years old at a running back. He's got more touches than anybody else in the league. But I just think that they're going to need to get him established and see what that looks like with their offensive line. So I like him to have a big game against a Raiders team who really struggled in week 1.
Yeah. I was trying to think. Dude, I just love those Kyler Murray plays. Anything on the Jaguars people should be looking out for? Because I would love Saquon Barkley 2 touchdowns. I think that's worth a sprinkle for the Eagles.
Anything that people should be looking out for on the Jags as far as
Brian Thomas or Brian, what's it, Thomas or Thompson? Thomas, right? Brian Thomas over receiving yards.
That's the thing about the Jags. It's good and bad, but the offense is so spread that it's really tough to bank on guys when everybody is healthy and everybody's in there. It's really tough to bank on a certain guy to go over because we really do spread the ball so well. Well, I shouldn't even say so well because we just lost last week, but we spread it a lot.
Yeah, and didn't put up a lot of points doing it, dude.
No, I don't think that it's safe to start taking Brian Thomas props yet. Christian Kirk had a down week. I would expect him to bounce back. Evan Ingram really didn't get a whole lot of targets in this one. I would expect him to be more involved moving forward. Gabe Davis, he had a pretty solid week 1. I don't know how consistent that'll be. You guys, obviously, you and Brian tend to think that he's not him, and it's definitely fluky. So it's tough to see. And then also, I mentioned this on the pod earlier this week, but the running backs, Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby, they had equal touches, equal rushing attempts when it came to running the football this past week in week 1. So it's just really hard to bet on anybody on the Jags offense when the ball goes in every direction at all times.
Fair enough there, dude. But yeah, I was just looking at some final score plays here. Maybe get a little 16-13 Steelers over the Broncos, or a 19-13 Steelers over the Broncos. I like a weird line in there somewhere. So if you really want to sprinkle some juice and maybe win a lottery ticket, try and get a line around there. Steelers 16, Broncos 13, plus 6,500. Worth a shot, all I'm saying. But that's all I got for y'all. That's all I got for y'all. It's Views from Section 400. Next time we do a show, we should have the full crew back, ready to gear and ready to go. Hope Brian's doing well. He'll be back with us next time. Jack, enjoy the rest of your night, man.
You are now in the mix
And
with
go
DJ
Birds.
Savage.
I'm tired, man. Have a good night, everybody.
Peace.